Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting into something huge, something businesses really want, but honestly, rarely nail down as a predictable thing. We're talking about creating viral content for actual business growth.
Yeah, and importantly, moving beyond just, hoping something goes viral,
Yeah,
we're looking at how you might actually engineer it strategically.
exactly. And our guide for this is some really interesting material excerpts from Creating Viral Content for Business Growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's by Dr. Pooyan Ghamari, who's a Swiss economist and also founded the Elan platform.
Interesting background. Economics and virality.
Right. So our mission here is to unpack his blueprint. How can viral content become a real tool for your business? Something you build, test, scale, not just like a lucky accident.
It's about shifting focus, isn't it? Away from just getting views, the vanity side, towards understanding the psychology, using data, running smart tests.
Yeah, converting that buzz, that fleeting attention into something solid. Authority, trust, maybe even leads or sales, real action. So let's kick off with the core problem Dr. Ghamari tackles. Why does so much content blow up online, get millions of views, but do absolutely nothing for the business itself? He calls it the conversion gap.
That's a great term for it. And the source frames this whole thing around attention as capital. Think about it. Attention is scarce. Everyone's fighting for it. It's like currency.
Okay, yeah, attention capital. I like that.
So going viral, that's like acquiring a massive amount of this capital, right? But the source is clear that capital is useless if it doesn't convert. If all those eyeballs don't lead to, say, a lead or revenue or build your influence strategically, it's just noise.
Just noise. That conversion gap is that frustrating space between being seen everywhere and actually getting results that, help the bottom line.
Exactly. Views feel good, sure, but they don't pay the bills unless they lead somewhere meaningful.
Right. And the core idea here is that you can breach that gap. Virality isn't some dark art.
No, it can be reverse engineered. That's the argument. It's not a miracle. It's presented as this disciplined, data-driven process, iterative.
So like combining creative ideas with actual analytics and business thinking.
Precisely. Taking some creative risks, sure, but backing up with data and logic, that's how you separate the noise from genuine influence and impact.
Right, I love that. Moving from hoping for a lottery win to actually engineering something. And Dr. Ghamari offers a practical way in this Wizard Action Plan, a 5-step blueprint. And it starts by saying, look, virality isn't just random luck. There are patterns.
Absolutely. Which leads straight into step 1. Analyze 10 top-performing posts in your niche. Understand their hooks, their structure.
Okay, but hang on. Why start by analyzing others? That feels a bit backward for something that seems so spontaneous, so original like virality.
Yeah.
Why dissect instead of just creating?
Well, because the source argues that the really successful viral stuff, it almost always follows patterns. Psychological triggers, certain structures. It's not just luck. It often taps into powerful emotions, surprising insights, clarity, specific narrative forms. Analyzing others is like, well, it's like taking apart an engine to see how it works before you build your own. Reverse engineering.
Okay, reverse engineering. So how do you actually do that analysis? What are you looking for specifically?
You find the leaders in your space first. Competitors, influencers, key media. Look at their posts that really took off shares, saves, comments, real engagement. Yeah, look for the hooks, the headlines. What grabs you? What kind of story is it? Is there a strong emotional pull? Do they ask you to do something? Even just share this. What's the format, video, carousel, article, platform, timing? You note all of it.
And you're trying to pull out some kind of, like a hook formula.
Exactly. You're mapping the psychological triggers. Are they using curiosity, like hinting at a secret? Or surprise, an unexpected stat? Urgency, act now? Empathy, showing a struggle or a win. You figure out what made people stop scrolling and actually pay attention. The source gives a really concrete example from Elan itself, their real estate posts showing genuine investor journeys, especially the before and afters. They outperformed standard market reports by like 10 times.
10 times, wow.
Yeah, it just shows the power of a relatable story, showing a real outcome.
That's huge. Okay, so analyzing what connects is step 1. Crucial. What's step 2 in this wizard plan?
Step 2, brainstorm 20 provocative headlines relevant to your audience.
The headline. The source calls it the gateway drug of virality. Makes sense if they don't click or watch? Game over.
Totally. So now you apply what you learned from step one. You look at your audience's pain points, what keeps them up at night, what assumptions do they question. Then you use headline frameworks that seem to work, maybe ones you spotted, or classic ones like what nobody tells you about X, or why most people fail at Y.
Or the hidden cost of Z, those kinds of things.
Exactly. And don't be afraid of a little controversy, the source suggests. Headlines that challenge norms, like, say, why the 30-year mortgage is dead, can spark debate, curiosity. The key thing is to test these headlines out, even informally, before you pour resources into the full content piece.
And the tip about keeping a headline bank?
Yeah.
That feels really practical.
Yeah, constantly generating and refining them. The best content often starts with a really sharp, intriguing question right there in the headline. It's a skill you build.
Okay, so analysis done, killer headline drafted. What's next? Step 3.
Step 3 is using storytelling frameworks. Things like the hero's journey or a before-after bridge structure.
Storytelling. Yeah, that feels like the oldest viral engine there is, doesn't it? We're just wired for stories.
We really are. And the source emphasizes the best stuff isn't just information thrown at people. It's often an invitation to go on a journey, experience a transformation. You can use the classic hero's journey, protagonist, challenge, insight, transformation, or that simpler before-after bridge.
Right. Describe the before state, the desired after state, and position your thing as the bridge.
Exactly. And crucially, humanize it. Real voices, real photos, not just stock stuff. And always connect the story back to a business goal, prompt them to sign up, ask a question, or share it.
And that Ayland example fits perfectly again. Those before and after case studies worked because they were good stories, but they also drove leads because they showed the solution.
Precisely. It links the narrative power directly to a business result. It's storytelling with purpose.
Got it. Analyze patterns, brainstormed headlines, structured a story. Step 4.
Step 4. Launch A/B tests for your content formats.
Okay. So it's not just what you say, but how you package it. The media matters.
Hugely. And preferences change fast, platform by platform. What works as a long article might totally flop as a short video, or vice versa. So you test in parallel. Take the same core message and try it different ways at the same time. Text post, video, carousel, infographic, maybe even audio.
And see which one clicks.
Yeah. Track performance for that message on that platform. Be ready to iterate, fast drop what's not working for that specific piece, double down on what is. You got to refine for the platform too, right? Like short video for TikTok or Reels, maybe a detailed carousel for LinkedIn, long-form text or Medium or a blog, and document what you learn, which messages fly and which formats where.
The insight there seems key.
Yeah.
A message that fails as, say, a blog post might explode as a video or a chart. You got to be agile.
Totally. Virality rewards agility, as the source puts it. Don't get stuck on one format. Let the data and the audience guide you on how to best deliver that attention capital.
Okay. And that brings us to the final step, step 5. This sounds like where it all ties back to the business goal.
Absolutely. Step 5 is measure shares, saves, and inbound leads weekly.
And the source quote here is blunt. Virality without conversion is vanity.
It's the hard truth, isn't it? The real measure isn't just views, it's the outcome. So you need analytics tracking not just reach and likes, but the deeper stuff. Shares who found it valuable enough to pass on, saves who found it useful enough to keep. But the most critical part, you have to connect spikes in shares and saves to actual business results. Leads, signups, inquiries, sales.
So which specific post actually moved the needle for the business?
Exactly. Use that data. If a topic or format consistently drives leads, make more like it. If something gets views but zero action, either drop it or figure...
Well, maybe ask people directly too.
Yeah, get qualitative feedback. What helped you most? What did you share and why?
And the result of doing all this continuously.
The source says you shift from basically buying a lottery ticket with each post to building a predictable compounding engine for business impact.
That's the goal, right? From hope to engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got the 5 steps. Analyze, headline, story, test formats, measure outcomes. Let's dig just a bit deeper now into the why. Why do people share stuff in the first place? Dr. Ghamari talks about the deep logic of virality.
Right. Why hit share? The source outlines 4 main drivers. First is identity. People share things that signal who they are, their values, their interests, maybe who they want to be seen as. Sharing is self-expression.
Like sharing something that shows off your professional knowledge, or that you care about a certain cause, it reflects on you.
Exactly. Second is utility. People share stuff they think will make their network look smarter, more prepared, more insightful. Sharing valuable info reflects well on the sharer.
Ah, okay. So if I share a really useful guide or a surprising statistic, it makes me look good, like I'm in the know and helping my connections.
Precisely. You're boosting your own social capital. Third is emotion. Content that hits hard, emotionally, surprise, awe, anger, hope, humor that's potent fuel for sharing. Strong feelings often demand action, like sharing.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
You feel something strongly, you want others to feel it too or react to it?
Mm-hmm. And the fourth driver is community. Content that sparks discussion, invites debate, encourages group action, or builds a sense of belonging. People share things they want to talk about, bond over, or rally around with others.
So using content as like a social object, something to connect over. Okay, identity, utility, emotion, community. And when you tie that logic back to the business.
Well, when you engineer your content with these motivations baked in, the source argues it becomes this really powerful pipeline, much more than just visibility.
How does that translate practically?
Well, first, lead generation. All that awareness you build actually starts converting. Inquiries, signups, demo requests, clients. Awareness turns into interest, turns into action. Second, huge authority building. Consistently sharing valuable, resonant content makes you or your brand the go-to resource, the thought leader. That makes all your future efforts more effective because people already trust you.
Right, so success builds on success.
Yeah.
That authority gives you momentum.
Exactly. And third, it provides amazing market insight. Content that gets tons of shares and saves. That's real-time market research. What topics, formats, angles are hitting hardest tells you about trends, needs, feelings, often faster and more genuinely than a survey could.
Wow, getting market intel just by seeing what people connect with, that's smart.
It is. It helps you decide what to do next.
Okay, so bringing this deep dive towards a close,
Yeah.
what's the absolute core message here from Dr. Ghamari's work?
I think it's really clear. The days of just passively putting content out there and, hoping for the best, they're over. Virality, seen this way, isn't luck. It's a discipline. It's a system you build, test, and scale using data and understanding people.
So it needs the same kind of serious effort you'd put into, I don't know, product development or financial planning.
That's the idea. By committing to this kind of blueprint, understanding patterns, crafting hooks, using stories, testing formats, and obsessively measuring real outcomes like shares, saves, leads, you're setting yourself up for lasting impact, not just those fleeting moments of attention, but genuine influence in a really noisy world.
That definitely shifts the perspective. It's not about waiting for lightning to strike. It's about building the lightning rod, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's where the real control, the real power lies.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful, really digging into how to engineer virality for actual business results using Dr. Pooyan Ghamari's framework. Thanks for walking us through all that.
My pleasure. It's definitely a compelling way to think about content.
So as you, our listener, think about all this for your own work, maybe consider that point about utility from the deep logic of virality. The idea that people share content that makes them look smart or helpful to their network. How could you design your content, your posts, articles, videos, whatever, to provide that specific kind of utility for the audience you want to reach? What information, what insight, what story could you share that they'd feel genuinely good about passing along because it benefits them in some way? Really think about that utility factor in your own context.